In this movie we're going to attempt to assemble the train and animate it as you see going here. So this should be fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up or we're going to create a new file, and we want a new assembly file so we can assemble parts. And then we come up here and we want to go to place. And you're going to try to find all your parts and stuff. And the first thing we want to do is we want to bring in the actual engine body. So there's that. I'll bring it in here, and you right click to set it, and then it gives you another piece, and then you you left click to set it, and then you right click and click OK. So you got it in there. And if you look over here on the hand here, I can grab it, I can move it around. I could hit the rotate, and I could rotate it around. And we're going to bring in another piece to attach to it. So I'm going to click place again. I'm going to get the smokestack, bring that in here. Left click, right click, OK. And so then you'll see I can grab the hand, move both things around, and grab this and move these around. And I can just click on one individually like this and move it, or I could click on this and just move this around too. Now I don't really want to do that. Whenever you place a part and you start an assembly file, you want to really take your first part that you're going to attach everything to and make it so that it doesn't move around like this. You want it stationary or grounded. And that's very easy to do. All we have to do, by the way, look over here. So here's our engine part. See, I brought our engine part in and our smokestack part in. I'm going to right click on the engine body and come down here where it says grounded and ground that. Then you'll notice over here on the engine there's a little thumbtack, a little push pin there, which means that thing is grounded. So if I come here and I grab this, I can move this around. But if I come here, I can no longer move this around. I can still come over here and grab the whole thing. It's going to move all of it together, or I could rotate the whole picture together. But individually, I can move this, but I cannot move this. And that's kind of what we want. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the smokestack up in here. Now there's several ways that this can be done. This is all involving constraints. So I'm going to click constrain, and the one that's always defaulted on is this one here. It's called mate. And there's a couple things you can mate. I've seen people do it this way. If I come over here and hover over this, you'll see I can get it so I have an axis. And I could come up here and I could get an axis too, and I could mate those axes together. Now, that means that the axis of this one, the axis of this one will be lined up. But I can still grab on the smokestack and move it up and down along with that. I wouldn't be able to move it side to side or anything, but I'd be able to move it up and down on the axis. So then what we'd have to do is we have to do another kind of mate where I'd come down here and I'd grab that circle and then maybe this bottom circle down, if I can get it, or I could do this top circle and that top circle there or something. I could do the bottom circle, and then I could probably rotate a little bit and get down there. I got the bottom circle, and then that would mate those two faces together. But what I like doing instead of using both of those is using a different constraint called the insert. So I can insert this, and then I can come here and I can it does both at the same time. So see, if I hover over here, it has the circle and the axis highlighted. It's going to mate the axis and the edge here to the hole at the same time. You'll notice that there's an arrowhead pointing down, so it's going to put it down in. So I'm going to grab onto that, and then I'm going to come up here and see if right there I have that hovered over. I got the axis and that bottom circle, and I'm going to click that, and you get a nice sound there that helps you, makes you feel good. And then I click apply, and so now I have that smokestack in there. Now, one thing that we might want to do real quick, and you might not like this, so you can turn it off, but if you go under View, then you can click on Degrees of Freedom. That'll show you how many degrees of freedom we have around various things. And before I did that constraint, you would have seen little green arrows all over this, but now you just see a rotation thing, which means that if I grab onto this, I don't know if you can see it or not, it's kind of hard to tell, but see, when I pull it around, it's actually rotating. You can see the edge is kind of doing, so that's kind of rotating, which isn't a big deal, but how do I get it to stop rotating and completely have that out of the way? Well, what I could do is I could come under the smokestack, under the origin, and I could look at the planes here, and I'm going to get this plane here that's going right down to the middle of the smokestack. So if I right click on that and turn the visibility on, I'll be able to see it. So I can do another constraint here. I can go to Assemble, I can do Constraint, and I can do what we call an angle constraint. We're going to use a lot of these too. And I can do an angle constraint between different planes and have them be 0 degrees, which means they'd be parallel to each other, or 90 degrees, which means they'd be perpendicular to each other, or whatever. And so what I can do is, I'm going to rotate this around a little bit. I can click Angle Constraint. Now here's the thing you got to watch. You got to click this first one, and it's not defaulted on that. We could probably do that, but I'm gonna have to default it on that, and get it on that one. And then what you do is you come up here and you click this plane, and then you click another plane on the body of the train somewhere. I'm just going to click this face right here, and right here the angle between those is 0 degrees. I can put in anything I want. It wouldn't really matter what I put it at. But then this plane is going to line up at that angle with that particular plane. And all that does is just keeps it in place. So if I click Apply on that now, this thing will no longer rotate. It doesn't have the little spinny thing on it anymore. I'll close that. I can come up here to the plane, and if I can zoom in here and get just the plane, which I'm having a hard time doing. I'm just going to go over and grab the plane here, right click on the plane here, and turn off visibility so it's not there anymore. And now if I grab this, I can't see, it won't rotate around anymore. So I've completely constrained it. It's not a big deal if it rotates, I guess, technically, but okay. So we got the smokestack in. All right, let's put on some wheels. So I'm going to place, and I'm going to grab a wheel, open, and of course I need 4 of these. 1, 2, left click, right click, okay. And we're going to put these wheels on here, and this flat side is the side that goes on here. So again, you could mate an axis, and this flat side and this flat side, or we can just do insert. Even though we're not technically inserting something here, I can use an insert and do that in one step rather than in two. So I'm going to click Constrain. I'm going to click the Insert tool. I'm going to come here and go up here and get the axis in that circle right there. And I'll come here and get the axis in that circle right there. Apply it. Then I'll get this one and that one and apply that one. And then we probably got to turn this around. And I'm going to do that one and that one. Apply. You got to hit apply every time. That one and that one. Apply. And good. I got my wheels in there. Okay. Now these wheels should rotate. See, they can spin around. But that's the only thing. I can't pull it off or move it in any direction. The only thing I could do is spin it around. Okay, so we got our wheels in. Let's put in our the pins, the hex pegs in there. Place axle peg. That's what I want. I want 4 of those. 1, left click, left click, left click, left click, right click. Okay. Got 4 of those. We're going to constrain. We're again going to do insert to save a lot of time. I'll go all the way up to get that bigger circle there. And then I'll come here and get the biggest circle. I don't want to clear out that. I want it like right there. Apply. There. There. Apply. Spin it around. Apply. apply. Okay, and if you zoom in here, you'll see a little circular thing on there, which means that we could take that and we could still rotate that thing, which is fine with me. I don't care that it's rotating; it's gonna be fine. Okay, and the whole wheel still, rotates. All right, so we got those in. Let's put the cow catcher on. Place the cow catcher, and of course you'll probably be putting on your cool cow catcher that you have designed. Right click, or left click, right click. Okay. Okay, so this would be kind of tricky. I got and you can always come up here and do free rotate and rotate an individual thing. And you can do this no matter what, even if you inserted it. And it looks scary because it looks like it's messing it all up, but it's not. It'll always go back to what your constraints were. So I need to put that pin in that hole there. That one there and that one there. So I'm going to do an insert, constraint, where's constraints? I'm going to do insert, and I'm going to go all the way to the back edge, and then come here on the front edge, and that'll put it on there. Apply, and see, now this is why you get scared, because now how do I get those other ones? Well, I can just grab the free move. I can grab it, pull it out here. I do the free rotate, rotate it around, and then you're saying, well, I had it in there, but it's still going to go in there. It's fine. Watch, constrain, and I do an insert, and I'm going to do this one, and that needs to go in this hole right there, and apply it. Okay, and then I'm going to grab it again, move it out here, rotate it, and now I got this last one, constrain, insert, that one there, and that one there, apply. Okay, there we go. So there, I got that on there, and I can grab it, and I can't get it to come off at all. So that's really good. Cow catcher's on. Okay, let's go around the back of this thing and put on the hitch stuff. Hitch magnet, open, and let's go ahead and get the hitch peg too. Okay, constrain. We're going to do insert. I can grab that whole face, put it right on there, apply, and then I can do an insert and get that whole thing there, apply. Got those on. Okay. Now what do we want? Now we have a linkage arm. Place. We need two of the. Oh, that's linkage peg, linkage arm. Open. Left click, right click. Okay. And we're going to try to put these on these things here. So, let's free rotate one of these. Like that. Zoom in here a little bit. Constrain. Insert. We're going to grab that hole there, and we're going to take it all the way to the back here. Whoop. There. Apply that. We can move this back out. Rotate it out a little bit. Constrain. Insert there and there. Apply that. Okay. While I'm on here, let's go ahead and put the pegs on. So place linkage peg. I need 4 of those. Constrain. Insert. Go to there. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. That's good. Apply, insert, There's another one. There. Apply. And let's escape out for a second. So now I should be able to grab this linkage arm and it'll go around. It might not stay perfectly horizontal. Sometimes like this part will go up in this way, and then you kind of do a figure 8 kind of thing or something. I could probably have hooked it on that way, but we're going to fix that anyway, no matter what. So now I got this driving around. Okay, let's go to the other side and fix it all up. Let's do constrain, insert there, and there. Apply. Well, let's just move it. Rotate it. And you can't lose track of which side you're doing. That side and that should be good. Apply, insert that on there, apply, insert that on there, apply, and we'll close that out, and this thing should now be going also. Okay, good. Good, good, good. What did I do? There we go. Okay. All right. So now what I have here, we're almost done here. So if I take this and I rotate this around, you know, sometimes this doesn't work very great, and sometimes it'll, like this part will come up here and it'll be kind of at an angle, and I want these always to be flat like they are right now. So the way I can do that is pretty easy. I can just kind of come up underneath here, and I'm going to do a constraint, and I'm going to do, if you remember, an angle constraint with different planes. Remember, I got to hit on this first one, and I'm just going to come under here and click the bottom of the train. And I'm going to come up under here and click the bottom face of that thing right there. So the train's always going to stay this way, horizontal, so that means this is going to be constrained to be exactly horizontal too, as long as I keep 0 degrees in there. I apply that, and that'll always keep it that way. That's good. I could do another angle constraint between the bottom of that one and also the bottom of the train. Apply that. And so that's just going to keep them always there horizontal to each other. Okay. Some of you might not ever notice that problem, again, if it might not flip up on you, but it's going to work a lot better if you do that. Okay, the last thing I would like to do is I would like to be able to, well, I guess not the last thing, but I'd like to be able to tie this one with this one. So if when I'm going, like turn this around, the other side turns also. So the way I'm going to do that is let's try to turn this around so I can see the front. Okay, so I'm going to come down and open up a wheel. I got 4 wheels here, but they're all the same part technically. But when you're doing assemblies, they label them all as different things. So if I hover over a wheel, that's wheel 1, and there's wheel 2, wheel 3 is up front, and wheel 4 is in the back. Doesn't matter which one I open up right now. I'm going to go to wheel. I'm going to look at the origins, and I'm going to look at one of the planes that's going through it, like that one, the XY plane. And I'm going to right-click on that and turn the visibility on. Now you notice when I did that all the planes showed up on every wheel. That's because the wheel is the exact same part. So if I show a plane on one wheel, it's going to show it on all the other ones too. So what I want to do is I want to, when I'm rotating one of these, like if I'm rotating this side or I'm rotating this wheel, this wheel is tied to it so that both of those will move. But I'd like this one to also, the back sides to also be moving too. So what I can do is I can do an angle constraint between this plane and this plane. And so then when I'm moving this around, this plane is rotating around, this plane would have to rotate at the exact same angle and would cause this other side to rotate also. Hope that makes sense. It's kind of confusing. So I click constrain, I click the angle constraint, and I click this one. Remember, I always click that first one. And then I'm going to constrain two planes at the same angle. So I'm going to click that plane right there. I come over here and I'm going to click that plane, and you'll see it did it at 0 degrees. And so if I now would rotate this one would rotate also. Now, before we do that, let's look at here. Okay, see this linkage arm is on the bottom, and this linkage arm is on the bottom now, right? Okay, and you can leave it like that if you want. I prefer something a little different. I like it to be, I don't want these things to be parallel going around. I'd like this one to be on the top when that one's on the bottom, so it's like a chugga 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 kind of thing. So the way I would do that is, right now these planes are 0 degrees. What I need to do is I need to have the angle between them be 180 degrees. So I'm gonna take one of these planes and I'm gonna turn this plane all the way around. I'm gonna turn this wheel around halfway around, so the plane's basically upside down the way it is right now, which would be 180 degrees off of what this plane is, and then so this will be up on the top. So I can just come here and I can change it to 180 degrees and see how it turned that wheel around 1/2 time, and so the plane's upside down now. It's 180 degrees off of this one, and my linkage arm's up on the top while this one's on the bottom. And I just like it that way. So I'm going to click apply on that. I can come down here and I can right click on the well, I'm going to leave the planes on for now. But if I come here and I grab this, see, now now they're going. And see if I can move it over a little bit so you can kind of see the other side a little bit better. So if I turn this around, the other one's going to be turning around kind of opposite. So there's one up on the top while the other one's on the bottom. And that's because these planes are not 0 degrees. They look like they're 0 degrees because they're parallel to each other, but one's flipped as compared to the other one, 180 degrees off. Okay. All right, so the very last thing we want to do is I want this to be able to do this by itself. I don't want to have to come here and grab this and turn it around to show people how it works. I would like to click like a play button and have it be moving. So I need to add one more constraint in. And this is going to be another angle constraint. And now I have it set so that if I can turn one wheel, the other wheels all turn, right? So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to constrain the angle of this plane here to the engine body, like this plane right here. Okay, so I'm going to click angle, make sure you're on the first one. I'm going to click on, and it doesn't matter which plane you do. You can do one of, you just have to do one of them. So I'm going to click that plane, and I'm going to click this engine by right there, and right now it's on 0 degrees, so it lined up all these planes with the front of this thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do on this one's a little special. I'm going to come down here in the name section. If you can't see the name section, you got to click on this button right here. Drop it down like that. I'm going to click on the name section. I'm going to call it drive the train. I'm going to actually have a name for it because I'm going to use this constraint to drive the train. And I'm going to click apply. Okay. Now at first, you might not like this. I'm going to close that up. And let's see, on the so if you come under the wheel 1, you see drive the train. Under wheel 2, you won't see drive the train because we had it there, but you'll also see it under the engine because we did the constraint between the engine and that plane. So you'll see it under wheel 1 and you'll see it under engine 1. Either one is the drive the train. Okay, now at first this might seem like, well, this is no fun, because now if you watch, if I come over here and I try to grab the wheel and try to turn around, I've lost the power to be able to do that. I can't just go ahead and grab it and make it turn, which was kind of cool, and so now people are upset. And the reason it won't is because this plane and this plane are tied together. They have to be 0 degrees, so I can't move this because that's locked into place to be 0 degrees. But what's cool about that is I can now go over to drive the train, right click on drive the train, and you'll see under the constraint, you'll see drive. So I can click on drive, and then what you see here, I'm going to click this little button here too. You'll see that it's going to start at 0 degrees, and then it's going to go to 10 degrees difference between the planes. So what's that going to do? If it's right now at 0 degrees and this starts to go towards 1 degree off, 2 degrees off, 3 degrees off, it's going to actually drive this wheel around. Now 0 to 10 degrees isn't very far. Let's say I want to make this wheel go around one whole time. Well, that would be all the way up to 360 degrees. And then down here you'll see an amount of value that increment. So it's going to go by 1 degree increments. So it's going to go 0 degree, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, and it's going to go around and it's going to drive it. And so I can go from 0 to 360, turn it around once, and I can just click play and watch the magic. So see, it's driving the constraint. It is taking this plane and this plane, which are at 0 degrees right now, and it's saying, okay, let's change that angle over time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around 360 degrees, and it gets back to the same place. What if I want this to go 10 times around? Well, that'd be 3,600 degrees. I got to click the all the way back button. Then I click this, and there it goes. And up here you'll see the position. See, it's 300 degrees, 400 degrees. It's on its second turn, 500, 600, 720 right there. That's 2 times around. And that'll go all the way to 3,600 degrees, and that will be 10 times around. I'm going to stop that. What if I want this to go faster? It's going too slow for my liking. Well, you come down here and you just change the increment. Instead of 1 degree increments, let's go 5 degree increments. Click all the way back and let's hit the play. There we go. Now we're going faster. So I can stop that. I can close this out. Maybe I don't want to see those planes anymore, so I'll come down to the wheel. Wheel 1 is where I had it turned on. I'll right click on that, turn the visibility off. And I come back up here to drive the train, right click on it, drive it. And I don't want to get that plane off there. And I can change my increment to, let's go really fast. Let's go 10 degrees. Here we go. There we go, chugging right along. Okay, so that's how you assemble your train and animate your train.